Hi everyone, welcome to another little MDF constructional video for the latest release of MDF from Lisa Horton Crafts. So for this project we're looking at the little Woodland boxes, and what you're going to get in your Woodland box kit is you're going to get two of everything. So you've got two little deer, two little small trees, a back, a base, a lid, two side pieces and a front piece. So I've done a little bit of prep beforehand so that you can see how I'm decorating mine as I go along. So for your back piece, what I've actually done is painted one side in the same colour as the outside of the box, and on the inside I've actually used one of Lisa's fairy papers from the last release of button box fairies and papers that matched. I just think these papers are made for this sort of project and they just work perfectly. Our colours in the papers were the inspiration that I used to paint the outside of the box. It won't be a finished item at the end of this little video, but I will put a photograph of the finished item right at the very end. So you've got a top and a bottom, a front piece, two sides, and your little pieces for inside. Okay, so I've painted the back and I've put my papers on the inside, and the rest of the pieces I've actually painted just with a simple acrylic paint, one of the Paper Artsy fresco finish acrylic paints. This is a chalk finish and I just like the soft finish it gives. So this is the inside of my box, and the back is going to sit inside like that. Okay, so I'm going to put the back in place, and as I've shown you before, all you're doing is putting a little bit of glue on the recesses either side of the notches that are going to fit into these two little holes here. Okay, when you're decorating your MDF, I think I've said to you before, try not to get paint or paper or anything like that on these little notches, because when you try and fit them inside the holes where they're going to sit, you're going to really struggle to put them in. Okay, so hold that in place, just give the glue time to set a little bit, and then just make sure that that's firm and in place. Okay, now the front and the sides are going to be easy to put on. I'm going to put the sides on first. Now you'll see that these are meant to be trees, so make sure that you put them the right way up. So you want the branches going up rather than down, because trees don't go downwards, do they? So this one's going to go this side and this one's going to go in this side. Okay, so I'm just going to glue those. There's not going to be very much glue on here, but once you've got the top on, the top will hold these in place. So they might seem a little bit flimsy for now, but they won't be by the time you finish the box. So I'm just going to pop that one in there and pop this one in the other side, like so. Okay, I'll just wipe the glue off. You won't see the glue anyway once you've finished these, because the glue dries clear anyway. So there you go. At the moment you've got a back and two sides, and this is open, which I think adds to the beauty of the little box by the time you finish. So before I put the front on, I'm going to put the pieces inside that I want inside. Now I've painted my tree and my deer in exactly the same colours as these, only because I want it all to match. I was going to paint the deer brown, but to be honest, I want it to look as though it's in a sort of an evening twilight sort of light, so that's why I've left them both purple, if I'm honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of Lisa's sisal, and I'm going to put that in the bottom of the box, so that that's sort of like a little bit of a woodland floor, if you like. If I just zoom in a little bit, see if you can see that a little bit better. Now I'm going to put that in the bottom, I'm going to use my hot glue gun. I'm just going to put a couple of blobs of glue there and there. And I'm just going to pop that down there. Just watch your fingers with the hot glue, because it is exactly what it says, hot, and you don't want to burn your fingers. And the other reason I decided to use the hot glue gun was for sticking these two little pieces in, because whilst the Cosmic Shimmer is a nice glue, I'm not sure it's going to be strong enough to use for the tree and the deer, because as you can see there isn't very much in the way of places to use the glue on the feet. So that's why I've gone for hot glue, because I actually think that the hot glue will sit around the bottom of the feet and keep that in place. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my hot glue on the bottom of my little deer's feet and hope that I've got enough time to actually put that in place, hold it there for a couple of seconds while the glue takes. I'm hoping this will work, because I've not tried it before, so you'll have to bear with me on this one. And if this doesn't work, and then I'm going to have to try something else, but I'll try that on the other box. All I will say is trial and error as far as the little deer and the tree are concerned. You will find a way of sticking it into the box that makes it stand up and it's not going to move. So there you go. My deer is actually standing up, so I'm hoping that he's going to stay standing up when I put everything else together. So I just put a little bit of hot glue on the bottom of the tray, and again just going to hold that in place on the bottom there while that glue sets. Now obviously the longer that the glue dries, the adherence of the little tree and the deer to the bottom of the box is going to be better, isn't it? Because the longer you leave it, the better the adherence, hopefully. There we go. So there you can see my deer and my tree are actually stood up. They're not going anywhere. I'm quite pleased with that, to be honest. Now I'm also going to put in these little boxes a set of lights, but I'm actually not going to do that until I've finished the whole boxes, because I want the whole box to be totally secure before I put the lights in. I don't want to knock anything and dislodge anything while I'm putting the lights in. And I bought a set of all they do is just little string lights, and they've got like a warm white glow to them. I didn't want like a bright white, because I wanted this to be a bit more of an ethereal light than bright white. So then I'm going to put the front on, and you can see I've only painted one side. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to paint the inside as well, then obviously that's your choice. I'm a little bit strapped for time, to be honest, so that's why I've only gone with the outside, and I don't think you're going to see much of the inside. That's why I'm not going with painting the inside. So I've pushed that in there, hold that just for a couple of seconds while that sets, and then you've got your main box with your deer and your tree inside, with your background of your little fairies and your trees, and I just think that's perfect. So then the top is going to go on here. Now all I'll say with the top is it's going to be a little bit fiddly, because you've got 4 freestanding pieces to slot into little holes. It's fiddly, but it's easily doable. It's not too much of an issue. It's just a matter of fiddling around with it till they all slot into place, but it is quite easy. So here we go. Now what I do is I try and start with the back and see if I can slot the back piece in first, because then that gives you somewhere to see that. Did you hear that slot into place there? So then I'll take the sides, push the sides so that they slot into their little places, because they're not going to move from the bottom here. You just need to have a little bit of manoeuvrability in slotting them into the holes. You can hear them just slotting into place as I'm just working my way round. So there you go. Slotted the top in, and then just hold that in place for a couple of seconds while the glue dries. And there you go. You've got your little woodland scene with your deer and your tree. Can you see that? And then, as I say, I'm going to add some lights in, but I want everything to be totally and utterly secure before I add those lights, because I don't want anything to move. So when I've done the other one, which you will see I've already started, but I haven't glued anything together yet. So if I just pop these in like this so that they look the same, then obviously I'm going to glue these later on. And then what I'm going to do is I've got a spare piece of wood here, which I found in my craft stash, and I'm going to place them so that they sit at an angle. You can see I haven't finished painting quite yet. So there you go, your little woodland box. So a little bit of glue there. Trim your sisal off so that it's not sticking out all over the place if you want to. Totally up to you. And you can do two different ones, you could do two exactly the same, paint them, put paper on them, do exactly what you want with them. They're so versatile. But I just knew I wanted this to look a little bit dark and mysterious. I might add a little bit of grey wax to the outside of the box just to give it a little bit of ageing. So there you go, those are your little woodland boxes. I hope you have fun with them, and I hope you enjoy just having a quick look at the examples that the design team have made that I'm going to add to the end of this little video. See you soon, bye!